Welcome your host, Caddy Frink, as she leads discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good day, good day, good day, good evening, good evening, good evening, whatever time you might be listening to this incredible show, because I just love what I do. Welcome to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution, here at AM 950. And I am here as your host, Caddy Frink, and across the table from me is whom?
Kimberlee Lawson.
That's Kimberlee Lawson. So Kim is here with me today. We're going to have an interesting new conversation about something. She's really super nervous, so everybody send her good energy that she's all going to be just fine. Before we start this incredible conversation, I want to say thank you to all the listeners and all the people that are out there in Radioland and podcast and all the listening adventures. And I want to say thanks to our funders, Patrick and Amy Butler Foundation, Otto Bremer Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, the Sauer Family Foundation, the Hardenberg Foundation, many other people who give monies, give time, give volunteer time, think about Minnesota Recovery Connection as a place that we call home, right, Kim?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing. Minnesota Recovery Connection has just welcomed a lot of folks. So those of you who are listening, as we know, we are in times where funding is a bit challenging, and that might be in your own pocketbook. But we at Minnesota Recovery Connection are always driven to bring recovery to all people, whether you are an ally, whether you are a person struggling with substance use disorder. So if you find it in your heart or in your abilities to donate to Minnesota Recovery Connection, I'm just going to throw that out there because it's always good. So Miss Kim, how are you today?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
She's calming down. I can see the shoulders have kind of relaxed just a little bit. Okay.
I'm good.
So I'm going to ask you, Kim, what's right with you today, my friend?
Well, this morning, I would say I feel physically well. Exactly a month ago today, a month ago tomorrow, I had back surgery, and I am doing incredibly well. Healed way faster and better than I thought I would. Getting around well, so I feel good.
You know, I don't think there's anything better than that. When our bodies are healing better, and when we are feeling good, and we're on the upside of what could have been a long recovery journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So ask me what's right with me.
What's right with you, Caddy?
There you go. Sometimes we just got to give everybody a little lead time. So what's right with me is I recently, like as of yesterday, whatever yesterday looks like whenever you listen to the show, had a birthday.
Yes, you did.
Yes. So I jokingly put on a post that I have that I got my first senior discount. A very nice young lady asked me at the co-op. She says, "Do you have a senior discount?" And I thought, how do I take this information? And I thought, a discount's a discount, so I'm just going to roll with it.
Right.
So,
it's like, how much is it?
Yeah, I gave me about $6 off my purchase.
Hey.
I know. So, a year older means I am a year more alive.
Yes.
And I really have to look at it that way. Sometimes you just went through some physical changes with having the surgery, but you know what? If these carcasses that we're in keep rolling with a little support now and then, so I'm just extraordinarily grateful to have another birthday.
Absolutely.
And I'm still here.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, darling. Appreciate that. So I brought Kim onto the show. Kim, why don't you, in these next few minutes, give the folks a visual, an understanding of who Kim Lawson is. Who are you that rides in this land of recovery, but who are you as your personhood? Because some people will be listening, some people will watch the video that's being done. So I want them to know who it is I'm talking to. How do you identify yourself?
Okay, well, my name is Kim Lawson. I am 62 years old.
Such a good number.
Yes, it is. I came to Minnesota Recovery Connection a little over a year ago at a time when I wasn't sure that someone else would even give me a job, let alone appreciate my experience. So I'm grateful to be here. I am a wife. I am a mother of 3 adult children. I am a grandmother of 12. I have been in long-term recovery for over 17 years now. And
whoop, whoop.
Yes, I have been working in the recovery field for over 20 years, and I absolutely love doing what I do. I feel just very connected to the recovery community, and I have been for several years, and I just passionate about being involved in the recovery community, and I just adore being at Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Nice, nice. You know, we have our ups, we have our downs, we have our goods, we have our bads, we have our tough times, we have our better times. But when Kim came into the organization, one of the things that we try to do is we try to meet people where they're at. And Kim acknowledges that she's a mature woman like me. And there's a wisdom that comes with that, and there's an understanding that comes with that. And there's also a longevity that comes with that. And one of the important things that I want to talk to Kim about when we come back with break in a couple minutes is, what does it look like to be a woman who's sustained recovery? What does it look like as a woman who is achieving goals in that recovery? And then what are the challenges of being a mature woman who's sustained recovery, like myself, for quite a while, but as you get older in your recovery, you also get older.
Yep.
And I think that's the thing that I want to kind of dive into a little bit, because we have individuals who are in their recovery journey, and then we have to face new things that are coming up, either physically, emotionally, environmentally, the changes in how we are going to pursue our recovery, because sometimes we have to take medications so that we can sustain life. And that's kind of a contrast in our brains from what we have been told or have shoulded us in the past. So there's like all this information. And I think there's an element of educating the next younger generation coming up. It's like, it's okay to stay in recovery, but it changes over time. Would you agree, Kim?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's something that I feel very passionate about. Kim and I were in a group meeting about a week ago, and we were talking about all the great things that Minnesota Recovery Connection does, and we're getting evaluated. And I said, we have this incredible radio show that I'm honored to be part of. And Kim kind of gave me the side eye, like, it's about time I get on this show, Caddy. She doesn't remember that, but it was funny. That's why I came right up to you, because what you were talking about was the longevity in recovery. And believe it or not, that has a lot of effect on a lot of different people. And then how you have been able to pursue your interests, which I'm so excited for you to get into. I know, look at y'all. If you watch this video, you should see she just popped her back up and she's like, yes, I did. Say something. You're going to say something.
No, I'm just listening.
No. See, this is a talking thing too.
Well, I am proud about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I am excited to talk about it.
Yeah. And so, so all of you that are listening, we've had many different voices on this program. And so we're going to talk about the maturity in recovery. And my dear sweet partner said, Caddy, you got to get some folks on that are the allies, that are the people who are listening to these shows and how they can support people who are either in long-term recovery or maybe in that early recovery. And these are conversations that we have all the time, but I've never done this kind of conversation, so I'm so excited about it. So when we come back from break, Kim and I are going to talk about what does it look like to be women who are of an age but are grateful for that age, and how do we move forward in this new space, and how does that look, and what does that feel like? So when we come back, Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution here on AM 950, the Progressive Radio Station. My name is Caddy Frank. We'll see you in a couple secs. Thanks.
This year of being alone.
Kim just took a deep, deep breath there in front of me. She's still a little anxious, folks. See, I throw people in the hot seat on this one. I say, just come on with me. It's a conversation with me. And she's like, so tell him what you just told me.
Well, I just shared with Caddy that when she thought I was giving her the side eye about wanting to be on the show, that is not what my eyes were saying at all. Because this makes me very nervous. But I'm actually, I'm nervous and I'm excited because this is a good topic.
Yeah, it's a good topic. Yeah. So, again, I just had to give Kim the moment to come back. But Redefining Recovery Revolution, we're back here with Kim Lawson and Caddy from Minnesota Recovery Connection. So, Kim, you and I are women of an age. We're literally the same age. And one of the things that our director gave the suggestion to you to talk about today was, which is Cynthia at Minnesota Recovery Connection. She said, talk about what you've been able to do in this past year. So and you were like, how do I talk about my age and how do I talk about what I'm doing and how do I talk about my long-term recovery? Well, guess what? Because of the long-term recovery, the opportunities that you've given to yourself have appeared. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
So what is it that you wanted to do back in the day, didn't do, and now you're doing?
Well, so 20 years ago, I was in school. Mm-hmm. I was a single mom, raising 3 kids. I was working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to go to school. I was in recovery, and it was a lot. Mm-hmm. I was almost finished, and then my mother got diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I dropped out of school at that time. It was a lot for me. It was very unexpected. And when she passed, I never went back.
Yeah.
I had to take on a lot with handling her affairs, being the oldest child. I had to be there for my children who lost their grandmother that they were very close to. I had to be there for my siblings, and I had to be the strong one and take it all in. And
that caretaker mode kicked in high gear.
Absolutely. And so I never went back to school. And so I even relapsed during that time. And so I kind of fell apart for a minute.
Let me just ask you about that. So you had your children, you had your siblings, you had the passing of your mother. And so when you said that you had a reuse, what I'm curious about is was it all those pressures that came on? Or what was it?
I'll tell you what happened. Everybody was asking me, how's your mom? How's your mom? And I kept saying, she's dying. She's dying. She's still dying. I got sick of saying that. And so I started isolating myself.
Okay.
I wasn't using the help, the tools that were available to me. And I just kind of shut down. And being in that alone place, trying to be strong for them, but not having any strength for myself. I just wound up using. Yeah. And it lasted for 2.5 years, and it was hard.
Yeah.
And so being able to recognize that is not the life that I wanted to live, and being able to enter back into the recovery process, and then just embracing the journey from then on till now. I never went back to school. I got back into working in the recovery field. Like I said, was raising my children. I was working. I had jobs in the recovery field. And so in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't need the degree. I'm doing this.
Right.
And so, but it was always nagging at me.
Right. It's hanging back.
It was
there.
always nagging at me, And so,
I'm gonna interrupt you only for a second because it's all about what does this journey look like?
Yes.
And so you were overwhelmed, isolated. Everybody was asking, how's mom? But I think nobody asked, how are you, Kim?
Absolutely. And that's one of the questions I think about, excuse me, when I'm working with, I work a lot with women.
Yeah.
I work with men and women, but during this journey of my recovery time and working in the field, I've worked a lot with women. And that's one of the things I realized that how many people ask them, what has happened to you?
You're right.
You know what I mean?
How you doing?
Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, because we're caretakers, we're mothers, we've got jobs, we've got all those things, and I think women are. This is a blanket statement, so
yes.
y'all just listen to me out there. I'm not trying to. Women are the caretakers. Women are the ones that hold a family together. And so we take care of everybody, but we aren't asked on a lot of occasions, "How you doing, hon?"
Yes.
And that was overwhelming for you. Just said,
yeah.
I got to shut down because it's kind of like nobody gives a poop about me.
Yeah.
They all care about themselves. And mom's super important. And
Yeah.
grandma's super important. But there's Kim.
Yeah. And even with some of the participants that we work with, even in the justice impact, I'll give you an example. I work a lot with justice impacted population, and a lot of times, people look at what they've done versus what has happened to them or the experiences they've gone through.
Right.
And so that's a question, that I've learned that sometimes it's important to delve into what has happened to you versus what did you do.
Right. Good point.
I tell them straight up when I go to do my recovery groups in the jail, I don't even want to know what you did.
Yeah.
Because I want to enter it into non-judgmental.
Right.
I only want to know what I can do to help you be successful moving forward.
Wow. Let me explain that a little bit. So one of the things that Kim does at Minnesota Recovery Connection, she goes into the Ramsey County Jail. Anoka Jail. Thank you. 2 of these systems, and we bring in it's a meeting, but it's more of a group where you bring in a topic, right?
Yes. Yeah. I consider it a recovery outreach.
Recovery outreach.
Yes.
Thank you. Much better. That's a great term. Yeah. Recovery outreach. And so what we've done is Kim has been cleared to go in there. She goes in on a weekly basis, meets with whoever wants to come to this. So it's not a required thing, but as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's sometimes a waiting list to get in. So think about that, folks. You got people who are currently incarcerated, having had what happened to them, like you said, and they've had a consequence to what their life has happened, and they did something that probably they're not proud of the next day, but they got themselves into some justice-involved situations. And then Kim and her charming self and other people come in and say, hey, let's talk about how you're doing.
Yes.
Not what you did, to your point,
yes.
but how are you doing? And what does that look like?
Well, one of the biggest things is, I want to say they're so grateful someone showed up for them. That's the biggest thing that I hear. I thank you so much for showing up for us. I hear that every single week. They can't believe someone actually cares. I just heard that on Tuesday when I was at Anoka Jail. Secondly, we like to talk about a plan. A lot of times they say, every single time I'm in this situation, I say I'm never going to do it again, only to find myself back here again. And we talk about I didn't have a plan. I didn't make a plan. I didn't know how not to do it again.
Right.
And so we talk about, on Tuesday when I was there, we were talking about trauma and how it ties into addiction, and just looking at healing, therapy. We talk about coping skills, and just giving them permission to be vulnerable.
Wow.
And even when they're outside a group, encouraging them to lean on each other and be, and support each other and be vulnerable with each other, just to have someone to talk to.
Right.
Because a lot of times they have to put on this mask, just the culture
of being incarcerated. Yeah.
They have to put this, mask on. And so just to have each other and knowing they can talk to each other and just giving them some skills to use to navigate while they're there. And then giving them a plan for when they get out and getting them connected with MRC while they're incarcerated. They're more likely to call on us when they get out.
Right. As you describe that experience inside that particular environment, it made me really think about anybody who's anywhere in the world who's struggling with substance use disorder. People reuse their chemicals, right? Because they're caught in some sort of loop of what's happened to them or what's going on around them. And so what happens is that you don't know how to exit.
Yeah.
You don't have an exit plan.
Yeah.
You don't know how to reconfigure your thoughts, because we get locked into how to survive. And when we are overwhelmed or things are going sideways or somebody's telling us what we should do, you should do, you should do, you should do, you kind of say, I don't want to deal with you anymore. So I'm going to go back to what I call our friend, which is our chemical.
Yes.
And then what happens is that the outside world, so you've got the people who are incarcerated, the outside world doesn't understand why they do the crime that they did that got them in there, but nobody's saying, hey, here, take a look at what's going on with you, what happened to you. And I think that happens in the greater community as well.
Yeah.
People get caught into their substance use disorder, they get caught in addiction, and they don't know the off-ramp. And that's where we come in, right?
Right. Well, if somebody has started using because of they're angry when they're 9 years old, and every time they get angry they use, and that's been the way they've handled anger their entire life, is with the substance, and then they want to stop using, they have to learn how to handle, what do I do with my anger?
Yeah.
So you have to give them tools.
Yeah.
And if we come in and provide them with some coping skills, that gives them some hope.
Yeah.
And they're like, this just might work. No one's ever told me I don't have to pick up when I'm mad. Maybe I can do this instead.
Yeah.
And they appreciate it. And then I also offer them, because like you said, they have a waiting list. So it takes a while for each pod to get a turn to come back in. Mm-hmm. And so I tell them, in the meantime, you can call us for worksheets. So they call, I send them packets of all sorts of different topics to work on.
Yeah.
And they call and request them.
Yeah.
And they're, engaging in the recovery process before they even give out. And I think they have a chance.
When they're
showing up for themselves.
Yeah.
Yes. Like you said, it's totally voluntary.
Yeah. And the thing is that that's what we do at Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Absolutely.
It is peer-to-peer services. So Kim, on a regular basis, goes into these scenarios, these spaces where she works with these people that are sort of, they're kind of, I was going to say captive, and that's totally the wrong word, but they're an audience that is there.
Yes.
But it's voluntary at the same time. But then when people are coming to Minnesota Recovery Connection and coming in for peer-to-peer services, it's another voluntary thing. But then Kim uses her wisdom, uses her experiences within people, understanding that's like, I first got to find out what's happened with someone and how are you doing?
Yeah.
And then we get on this journey of what could recovery look like, because first we got to unfold, right?
Yeah. And so I started out talking about 20 years ago.
Yeah, we got. We'll see. This was no. I do that all the time. But yeah, here you are.
I do want to say that. So 20 years ago, I was in school and I dropped out. I want to say that because of my recovery and because of just all the, I want to say, just even this last year being at MRC, MRC has poured into me. That's what I feel like. Mm-hmm. You guys seeing my experience as a value has encouraged me to go back to school.
As it should. No, don't you cry at me. Don't you cry at me. No.
So starting in January this year, I went back to school to get my LADC.
Whoop, 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 whoop,
only
whoop,
have
whoop.
a few classes left that I needed to do. I just got my report card. I received 2 A's, which was amazing to me because I was so afraid to take this math. I decided to take a hit on because that was the scariest thing for me because of being away for so long. And what I decided to do was to commit.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to do it, do it.
Yep.
And that's where wisdom comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I totally want this. And because I've already taken the test, I've already done my internships. Like I said, I was so close. Mm-hmm. And what a better way to honor my mother.
Oh, your mom is just
what
doing
a better
a happy
way
dance.
To honor my mom. And so I'm excited. I'm going to graduate fall of 26. And
Party at I almost said party at First Avenue, y'all. I almost said party at First Avenue. Wow. Party at MLC coming up the fall of 26.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. And it just, it has me stoked that, 62, I've never felt better. I feel like I am doing my best work. Right now in my life, and that I have a lot to give. I feel valued, and I can feel it with the people that I work with.
Yeah,
you know, the gratitude that they have, and it's just amazing to be able to continue to do the work, not only with the Justice Impacted, but with the people in the community that just call for help. A woman called yesterday, and she said that she was in a shelter and had a few days left. She came here from some hurricane
impacted
area. And although we don't do just housing, you know, I was able to give her a bunch of numbers to call for help. And that felt really, really good. Yeah. She said, thank you so much.
Right.
She said, no one else had any information from me. She said, thank you so much. Oh. And that just felt good.
You know, and that's what people need more than anything that are struggling either with their substance use or their life situations or a combo platter of that, is that, will you talk to me? Or actually, will you talk to me? But more importantly, will you listen to me?
Listen to me.
And then, can you listen to me enough so I can say what I need versus, okay, so you need housing here versus you found out she came from a hurricane devastated area. She probably told you a couple stories about what that situation was. And you did exactly what you did. I hear you. And then she felt like somebody gave a hoot. And then you're able to say, okay, now I know a little bit more about you. Okay, you got 5 days into place. What is the next thing that you want to look at? I'm sure you asked all those incredible questions. And then you're able to give her resources.
Yes.
And empower her to take her next step, right?
Absolutely. Well, I tell people when they say, well, what is MRC? I say, well, we're not a treatment center, but we are a resource hub. I said, we are a recovery resource hub. You can call us and tell us your situation, and if we can help, we're going to help you figure it out. If we can't do it, we're going to try our best to connect you to who can. Yep. I said, that feels really good. I said, we're not going to tell you how to do your life. We're going to ask you what you're doing in your life and how we can help. You know, what
does it look like?
What does that look like? You know, what kind of guidance? Where can I step in? What do you need from me? Yeah. And we're not going to work any harder than somebody else.
Absolutely. Because it's not that we don't care. We care so much that you pull yourself up by your own abilities that might have been buried because you were disconnected from yourself, right?
Well, what I find most with people is people really have their own answers.
Yeah.
If you start asking the right questions and present, you know, the right conversation, people figure out they have their own answers. Like you said, you just listen to them and ask them questions. People start figuring, I guess I can do this, or I can, they figure what their strengths are.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's so funny. I'm in a training class right now on Zoom with about 22 people training to be peer recovery specialists. And what you just said, Kim, is so important, and that is people know many times what the solution is, but the people around them are trying to fix them all the time and tell them what to do. And then they try that fix and it doesn't work. And then they say, I'm out of here because I can't figure it, because we're always trying to get people to do the things that we think they should do. And those are people with good hearts, just seeing like, hey, follow this path and it'll work. But we haven't done exactly what you said, is said, what do you want to do?
Well, I figured out people are really their own expert.
Yeah.
They're the expert on themselves. It's not for me to tell them, you know, what their life should look like. It's for me to try to present the conversation that says I care. I try to offer them some hope and set up the situation to help them figure out, you know, I know, you know, you can You got this.
You can.
Let's have this conversation,
yeah.
and the more we talk, they start to figure out they have their own answers, and they're the best experts on themselves.
Exactly, and we have to give people that space.
Yes, absolutely.
We have to give them that space. So yesterday I was working with a class, and I always ask at the end of the class, hey, what'd you take away? And really what you just said, Kim, is what they said. It's like we just really have to listen and help people understand that I have to see who they are, because we were talking about being culturally aware. Mm-hmm. Who are you? Mm-hmm. Who are you in this world? What is it that you know about yourself, like you just said? And then maybe what is it that you need the extra tools, like you said?
Absolutely.
That will help you determine what the next step is. Because like you said, usually people know what it is. And then there are people that are just absolutely lost.
Yes.
And those are the people that we spend more time with, we work a little bit harder with, we might have to walk them through some steps, we might have to fill out some forms with them, alongside them. There again, some people have learning disabilities, or some people have trauma that is so overwhelming. Some people have just been lost in their own substance use disorder for so long that they really don't know what's outside the paper bag that they've gotten lost in.
Absolutely. I went with a participant yesterday to a housing place. I won't name the place. I went with her because I knew she wasn't going to be able to articulate the conversation that she needed to.
Right.
And it was about a housing subsidy. So I went for that kind of support. So you're right. We do offer the appropriate support at the appropriate time.
Because it's all about the recovery journey. And this is where things in our field got a little squirrely a while ago with some of the organizations where they would just like literally take over somebody's lives and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to take you here. We're going to take you there. But when Kim says that she brings a participant to a space to be her support, to be maybe the vocabulary that they can't articulate because maybe they've never been in this situation before. And when it's new, it is scary as all get out.
And everybody does not have the skills.
Right.
Skill set. And so if that's the support you can offer, that's what we're here to do.
That's what we do. Yeah, that's what we do. Oh, Kim, you're just so inspiring to me. She's just giggling at me. And I want to, I'm going to take a break in a couple minutes, but what I want to come back with is maybe what is a little bit about your story. Okay. When did you start your substance use? And then we can fast forward through, we kind of know the middle. And then where are you now? We haven't really talked about this aging thing in recovery.
Right.
And I'll just say, as a woman who's more mature, and Kim and I are the same age, this journey of recovery as we mature, it doesn't necessarily get harder and it doesn't necessarily get easier. It just is another phase.
Absolutely.
And that phase, I want to encourage everybody that I believe that recovery is ever evolving in someone. It's not like you just get sober. It's not like you find recovery. It's kind of this recovery journey then.
Absolutely.
Once you get in like 5, 10, maybe 15 years, like we both are in that space, it's like, this is lifelong now. Yeah. And it's a mindset that you have to literally, I say I got, 24 years in recovery, but I now add the tagline, but every day I have to think about it.
Absolutely.
Because if I don't, I could say, hey, maybe I can go to the bar, which would have been my friend back in the day because I liked my booze. I liked my alcohol. Yeah. Because I know the relief it can give me because there's still life. At 62 now, life is real.
Life be life.
Life be life. Life be life is right. And not to put a spin that getting older is harder, but getting older is a thing.
It is.
And I've said to many people who are within my range, I'm like, the people who were 62 back when I was in my 20s and 30s, they didn't talk about it because they didn't want to scare us away from this.
Right.
So when we come back from break, Kim's going to give a little bit of her story, and then we're going to talk about how grateful maybe we really are to be where we're at. Right. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution here on AM 950, the progressive radio station. My name is Caddy Frink, and I'm with
Kimberlee Lawson.
Kimberlee Lawson, and we're with Minnesota Recovery Connection. Thank you for listening. Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hi, Kim.
Hey, Caddy.
How are you, hon?
I'm doing good.
Good, good. Well, we're in our last segment of this, and as we've come back to this conversation here at Minnesota Recovery Connections, Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution, Kim, give us a little snapshot of Kim's recovery journey, maybe where you started, where you are, where you came into your recovery, and now you're on the other end.
Okay, well, I started using as a young teen, smoking pot with friends, 13, 14 years old. Thought it was funny. Then started drinking as an older teenager.
Yep.
That continued on into my 20s. Started drinking really heavily. And then I remember someone offering me something to put in my weed that would make it just a little bit better.
Just a little bit better.
Yeah. I had no idea. It was a rocky substance called crack cocaine. I had no idea at the time how addictive that it would be and become, and what hell it would what havoc it would just wreak in my life. And so I became severely addicted to crack cocaine. And I used heavily while I was raising my children. There were periods of time where I would try to stop. I tried to go to treatment. I've been to treatment 5 times.
Okay.
And so I always wanted to be in recovery. I always wanted to be a better person. I always knew I could be a better person. I always had a job, but I would still find a way to use. Like there'd be a period of times where I'd be on binges, where it was a couple times a year, but it was really, really bad.
Intensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'd be, setting an alarm clock, putting my kids to bed like everything was normal, and I'd set my alarm clock, get up at night and go across the street and use all night with my friend. I mean, I went through great lengths to continue my using.
Yeah.
And so, when I finally got clean this time, I realized I would have to also go to great lengths to be in recovery.
Wow.
That I would, I was just willing to do whatever was necessary to not use. And so that meant admitting I couldn't do it by myself. I had tried, prior to this, I had kind of thought like, well, this will work for me, but I don't think I need this. I'll do this, but I don't think I need to do
the
that.
selective process.
Right. This time I look at, and this is just me personally, I look at recovery as like a recipe. And if I want my recipe to turn out right, I have to do all the parts.
Yeah.
I call my sponsor. I go to meetings. This is one of the biggest things I recognized, because I mentioned before that I relapsed when I had a reuse when my mother was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I was working in the field at the time.
Yeah.
At the time, I was working with women on their recovery. However, it wasn't the same as my own personal recovery, and I didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Now I realize that even though I go out into the community, I do all this good work with other people for their recovery, I know that's not the same as working on my own personal recovery.
It is your own journey.
And
you gotta
so
make sure
I
you're on.
still do my own personal
Nice.
work. I'm up at 5 a.m. every single morning. I pray. I read my daily meditation books. I have 3 that I read. I have certain music that I listen to.
Wow.
I feed myself every single morning so that I know I can't give from an empty plate.
Right.
And so and you had mentioned about you that every day you have to, remember every day that this is a thing. And that's it. Every single day that I wake up, I know that my recovery is something that I have to be mindful of. Because, and I've had ebbs and flows, different periods of time.
How could we not?
Right, because I'm human.
And we've been around a while.
Right. Through this journey of when I'm working on it, a little more work and not so much so, but I could see the difference when I'm not. And just behaviors or attitudes.
Get a little scrappy, don't we?
Yeah. Get a little feistier in traffic. Or not so patient in the line at the grocery store.
Right.
Or not showing so much grace with my fellow. And that's not who I am. I feel so much better when I'm working on myself. And you mentioned our age. Aging is a thing. I've gone through a lot of physical things during this recovery process. I've had to have a lot of surgeries. There was a time where I was counted out, where I was in the hospital for 3 years. Lost the ability to walk, had to have 7 major surgeries, and you talked about different medications. I had to be on a lot of pain medication during that time. And in my mind, I was thinking, is this going to mess up my recovery? But I had to be honest with my doctors. I had to be honest with my sponsor. I had to be honest in my meetings. And then when it was time to be off, I was honest with myself about that too.
Yeah.
Like, I can handle some pain.
Yeah.
And so I would just say each person has their own journey, and I respect that. And I appreciate the people who respected mine and who continue to respect my journey.
Yeah.
Each day I kind of feel like recovery is always going to be an uphill journey. The
uphill journey. What do you mean?
Uphill.
I thought you said a pill. I'm like a pill journey.
No, an uphill
journey. Got it.
However, the degree of the incline depends on the work that I'm doing.
Oh, whoa!
Like
that
I could be walking
beautiful.
up the hill with all this crap on my back. Or I could be working on it, getting rid of it, and then it's not so heavy. And it's more like this. But I always know there's work that I have.
There's
to
always
do.
a little incline.
It's always a little bit of an incline.
Yeah, because it's like any disease that we have, any problem we have. There's always a little something there. It's interesting. You said 2 things that I just want to pull out. And it's like every day I make sure that I take the medications I have to, a little antidepressant and a little high blood pressure medication, right? That's part of my recovery journey.
Absolutely.
Because there's a long time I didn't look at that stuff. I thought, oh, I'm okay. Yeah. But every day I do that. And then you also reminded me, every day I make my coffee, I sit in my space, and I just do my thing, whatever my thing is.
Yes.
And I now realize that if I don't do that, if I've got to rush and I got to do stuff, I've taken away from my time that says, here I am. Now, I do watch a couple cat videos in the morning just because it just kind of keeps me kind of gets that dopamine going again. It's like, gets that, give me a little my iced coffee and give me a little cat videos. I got the dopamine beginning to plug away. So I don't have to have any other stuff. But there's and so for anybody that's listening, if somebody that you know is either trying to find their recovery or trying to sustain their recovery, whether they've got long-term recovery, they've got early recovery, there's going to be things that people do that might look different, sound different, feel different to you, whoever you are witnessing this. Honor that. Say, hey, tell me about that. What does that look like to you? Don't so much ask why do you do it, but tell me what it is you're doing, because it really it's working. What is that?
That made me think of my dad, who's not here anymore. But I was staying with my dad. My husband and I was taking care of him, and he didn't understand. We were going to meetings, and he says to us, "You should go to more meetings than Barack Obama." He just
Sweet.
didn't understand it. And I think it is important what you said. Just try to understand,
And respect.
And respect somebody's journey.
Yeah, don't question it. Just sort of walk alongside. Respect it. So we're coming to the close of the show. And I think Kim came in and we were going to do this and we were going to do that. And I think I just blew her right off of her chair. But we had a really marvelous discussion.
Yeah, I appreciated it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Caddy.
Thank you very much. So everybody who's listening, Kim Lawson works at Minnesota Recovery Connection. She's a certified peer recovery specialist, going to school to be an LADC, a licensed drug and alcohol counselor. Let's give her a hand. Woo! Thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution. Have a marvelous day, week, whatever you're going to do, and I'll catch you the next time I catch you. Thank you.